The train ride to Berlin was uneventful, a blur of green countryside and sleepy towns. I was exhausted but buzzing with anticipation. My first solo trip, a reward to myself after a grueling year. The hotel I booked online looked charming, a classic old building right in the heart of the city. When I checked in, the friendly concierge handed me a heavy brass key. Room 306. The room itself was spacious, with high ceilings and a large window overlooking a quiet, tree-lined street. A heavy dark wood wardrobe stood against one wall, its surface polished to a near-mirror shine. I took a quick shower and climbed into bed, the sheets crisp and cool. I must have fallen asleep instantly. But then, a sound woke me, a soft, rhythmic creaking. I opened my eyes, my heart thumping in the quiet room. The sound was coming from the wardrobe, creak, 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 like a rocking chair, slow and steady. I sat up, straining my ears. The sound stopped. I told myself it was just the old building settling, the wood expanding or contracting. It was a stupid thing to be scared of. I lay back down, pulling the covers up to my chin. But just as I started to drift off again, it started once more. This time it was louder, more insistent. Creak, creak, and then a new sound. A faint, almost inaudible whisper. It was too muffled to make out any words, like someone talking on the other side of a thick wall. My blood ran cold. I stared at the wardrobe, its dark form a menacing silhouette in the moonlight filtering through the window. Was someone in there? It was impossible. I had locked the door. I grabbed my phone from the nightstand, my fingers fumbling with the screen. I turned on the flashlight, its bright beam cutting through the darkness. Slowly, I swung my legs out of bed and crept towards the wardrobe. My hand trembled as I reached for the handle. I took a deep breath, braced myself, and pulled the door open. Nothing, it was empty, except for a few wooden hangers and the faint scent of cedar. I felt a wave of relief mixed with a touch of embarrassment. I was just tired, my mind playing tricks on me. I closed the wardrobe door, making sure it was shut tight, and went back to bed. This time, I left the bathroom light on, its soft glow offering a small measure of comfort. The rest of the night was silent. The next day, I almost forgot about the incident. I spent the day exploring the East Side Gallery and the museums, completely engrossed in the city's vibrant history. But when I returned to room 306 that evening, a sense of unease crept back in. The room felt colder, the silence heavier. I tried to ignore it, putting on some music and unpacking a bit more of my suitcase. As the night wore on, I found myself glancing at the wardrobe again and again. It just stood there, silent and imposing. I decided to have an early night. I turned off the music, checked the lock on the door 3 times, and got into bed. I tried reading a book, but I couldn't concentrate. Every little creak of the floorboards in the hallway made me jump. Eventually, I drifted into a restless sleep, only to be jolted awake again. It was the whispering. It was back. But this time, it wasn't coming from the wardrobe. It was closer, right next to my bed. It was a woman's voice whispering in German. I don't speak German, but the tone was clear. It was pleading, desperate. I could feel a cold spot in the air beside me, a tangible drop in temperature that made my skin crawl. The whispering grew more frantic, the words tumbling over each other. Then I felt a weight on the edge of the mattress as if someone had just sat down. I couldn't breathe. My chest was tight with panic. I wanted to scream, to run, but I was paralyzed by fear. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. I didn't care about the money I'd lose. I just had to get out of that room. As I was about to leave, I noticed something I hadn't seen before. On the inside of the wardrobe door, Almost invisible against the dark wood were a series of scratches. They looked like they'd been made by fingernails, and below them, faintly carved, was a single word, "Hilf." I practically ran to the front desk. I slammed the key down and told the concierge I was checking out. He looked at me, a flicker of something in his eyes. Was it pity or recognition? "Is everything all right, sir?" he asked, his voice carefully neutral. "Room 306. It can be a bit active." He then told me the story. Decades ago, during the Cold War, a young woman had been staying in that room. She was trying to flee to the West to be with her lover, but the Stasi, the secret police, found out. They cornered her in the room. No one knows exactly what happened next. The official report said she took her own life.